individual. He's actually holds office here at Queen City Toastmasters, and he's doing speech number 9. Speech number 9, Persuade with Power. Now, what's so awesome about that? He's got 1 to go. He's on that last 100-yard stretch. He can probably kick an afterburners now and knock out speech number 10 next week. But he's been with Queen City Toastmasters for over a year. He's actually our Sergeant at Arms. He works with management group, helping Fortune 500 companies for over 10 years. And I'd like to bring up our next speaker, Mr. Shanil. He'll be speaking speech number 9, What is Love?
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, tonight I'm going to be a love dump. We see it everywhere. We see it on TV, we see it in the movies, we hear it on the radio, we hear it in the songs we hear on our iPods. We always hear messages about love. But what is love? I don't think everyone understands what love really is. We experience it, we feel it, but not everyone understands it. So let me share a story with you. 8 years ago, when I was a single young professional, I'm still young, I woke up one morning and I told myself, I'd like to get settled right now. I'm ready to take the next step in life. I'm ready to find a lifelong companion, get married, get settled, find a best friend that I could become a best friend to as well, and spend the rest of my life with. But how am I going to do that if I myself don't even know what love really is? I need to understand, or I needed to understand what love was for me to be able to then find it in someone that I could then spend the rest of my life with. So I started doing research, started, Googling things, and I started talking to people I trusted. I started seeking advice from people. And then I started reading books. And there were a couple of books I came across that I thought were quite insightful. There's one book that was written by Gary Chapman. It's called The 5 Love Languages. And I thought that was a great book, because that changed the course of my life. The introduction of that book is what really got me started. It really opened my eyes. Just the introduction, and the body was doing better. But what the author says is, people think that love is a feeling. So love, the feeling, is an emotional high that we all experience when we meet someone we're attracted to. You feel that, you get that loving feeling, right? Like Tom Cruise said. Top Gun. And it's a great feeling, right? And that's what happens when you first meet someone, you're attracted to that person, you start dating, you take it to the next level, you start getting engaged, get married, right? But love, the feeling, is an emotional high, and it doesn't last, right? It lasts a few months to 2 years, but eventually you're going to get off that emotional high. And once you get off that emotional high, that's when you really know if you're truly compatible with someone or not. What true love is a verb. Right? So the author said, true love is a verb. It's an action. It's what you do. Right? And he said there are 5 kinds of verbs, which he called the 5 love languages. So the first one is touch. I know what you're thinking. Right? It's not like touch. It's the smallest of things you do. Shaking someone's hand, hugging them when you see them, right? Patting them on the back when you do a great job. And it can be some other things too. That's one. The next is words of affirmation, right? Words of encouragement, praise. Right? When someone does a good job, you praise them. Right? Different people receive that differently. For some, it's awesome. Right? When you give them words of affirmation, they'll strive for the next level, and the next level, and the next level. They'll reach for doing something even greater than what they accomplished. quality time. For a lot of people, it's just about spending time with them. Like your loved ones, someone you care about, because that means a lot. Even if you're not having a crazy intellectual conversation with them, just spending time with them, going to the movies, going out to dinner, that's quality time. Gifts. And I don't mean buying $10,000 engagement rings for the other person, right? It's not that kind of gift, although some might appreciate that. But it's the smallest of things, right? It's the thought that counts. Right? So, for my wife and myself, my wife's love language is gifts. Right? But when I write a handmade birthday card for her versus buying something from the store, it means so much more. Right? So it's not the money, but it's really the thought that counts. It's actually giving them something that they can cherish and have sentimental value. Acts of service, right? Doing things for others. For some people, it means a lot. It can be something as simple as doing the dishes for those of you who are married. And it can carry volumes if your spouse's love language is acts of service. You know, buying them something that they'll cherish, you know, or taking them to the movies, or spending time with some kids, or just doing something that means a lot to someone else. These are the 5 love languages that he called out. So why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because I'm trying to persuade all of you to think about this with the people in your life that you really care about. The 2 things I want to ask you. The first is, look at this list, right, and think about the love languages that are most prevalent for yourself. Everyone has 1 or 2 dominant love languages. Take a look at this list. And then think of people in your lives and think about what love language appeals the most to them. And you might find that there isn't always a match. Your love language might be touch and words of affirmation, but your girlfriend or your spouse or your parents or your sister's love language may be quality time. That's when things go wrong. Right? When people have different love languages, right, that's when things go wrong. So when you get off the emotional high, right, with love feeling, the reason you're not compatible more often than not is because your love language is different. So the best step to addressing that is really understanding the other person's love language and doing the things that make the other person feel loved. That's what will make your relationship go to the next level. So understand your own and understand other people's love languages, and that's what will ensure you'll have a lasting relationship with all the people you care about. Thank you.